Martin Lindstrom, by now we've all become familiar with the term big data. So tell me exactly, what is small data?
Small data is the counterbalance to big data. So where big data is all about the correlation, small data is all about the causation. And that's important to have in mind because you can't just take these billions of data points and find an hypothesis in them. You need to find that first before you mine this data. And that's what I define as small data. Small data is really seemingly insignificant observations you make in consumers' lives, in homes, and how they live, and how they shop. And those small hypotheses are really the human heartbeat of what we're doing and what we're feeling. And that creates the foundation for big data.
All right, so how can companies use this insignificant data from my fridge or from my home to find the next big thing?
Well, I think a good example is Lego. In 2002, Lego was near bankruptcy. They relied on big data, and they were concluding that the instant gratification generation literally would kill the brand. So they changed the size of the Lego brick from tiny bricks to huge blocks. 2003, they halved their revenue. And that was where small data came into account. We went into a home of an 11-year-old German kid, and one person from the team said, "What are you most proud of?" And this kid, he pointed at an old worn-down pair of sneakers. He said, "These ones." And they said, "Why?" He said, "Well, because it shows I'm the best skater in town." You see, when you slide down this skateboard, it creates a mark on the shoe, and that was his trophy. And that taught Lego one thing. If you put the kids in the driver's seat, time is not in essence. And out of that, they changed the size of the Lego bricks to tiny bricks, and the Lego movie was invented, and today they're #1. And that's a very good example about how you can completely oversee data by being blinded by big data. And the small data always have to come first.
All right, well, we know that the big companies are looking at the big data. So let's go to my refrigerator. Now, I could choose Coke, or I could choose Pepsi. I could choose Dr. Pepper. So what does what's in my refrigerator say about me?
It says a lot. I mean, depending on what angle I'm looking at your fridge, it will also tell me about how guilty you feel. It's funny because for Jenny Craig, we realized that as I stand in front of the fridge and I look down, I have one point of view. If I go down on my knees, I will see that regular Coca-Cola hidden under the salad. That's a different knee. There's a different view. And that means I can see if you have guilt. If you are doing that type of order, I know you are guilt-based, and that means the way I'm going to talk about food and diets with you is completely different. That means I can actually do a profile based on your fridge, map it down, and then I can find the audience which tends to do that, and I can then start to communicate with them based on what I learned from small data.
Interesting stuff. So big retailers like Walmart, they're trying to, and Macys, the department stores, they have a lot of information on me already because I've shopped in a lot of these places. So why are they using it effectively? And if not, why not?
Well, remember, Walmart is the largest player of big data in the world. They own a warehouse of data which is several times bigger than FBI and CIA combined. The issue is they become addicted to the data. And here's the reason why. The data only tells them so much about the consumer emotions. But I mean, you're married, right?
Yes.
Why do you love your wife?
Because she's sweet.
There we go. I hope she's recording right now, right? But this is the issue. You will not say, I love her because she's 6'7" tall, because I love the color of her hair. It's Pantone color 5529. You will come with emotional statements. The problem Walmart has is they're already seen as cold and arrogant, right? They don't care about the local community. And they want to get closer to the community. They opened the Walmart Express some years ago. They're now closing several hundreds of them because they do not understand the heartbeat of the consumer. So small data in many ways is what they've always seen to find out how do I connect with the consumer. They're trying to run the consumers on a remote control. And because it doesn't work, they're just changing the batteries. And that's the same case with Macys. Macys, again, relied a lot on big data, but they're not integrated into the local communities, which is the reason why they're now closing 40 of the main stores across the country.
All right, and then finally, what about Amazon? Because they are growing, and it seems like they know a lot about everyone because they're watching everything they buy.
Absolutely. Well, there's just one exception. They are growing, but the book sale is not growing. In fact, it's flat, if not going down, which is the reason why they opened a bricks and mortar store in Seattle and are planning to do more of these stores. But what is fascinating about this is that they probably won't succeed with a bricks and mortar store. And I'll tell you why. Because I spend a lot of time with booksellers across the country. I mean, I did the opening keynote speech at the American Bookseller Association the other day. And I asked them, are you fearful of those Amazon guys? And they said, no. I said, why? They said, because we are completely embedded into the local community. We have become the new community centers because we understand the emotions. And Amazon don't understand that. They understand the numbers, but not the emotion.
All right, thanks a lot, Martin Lindstrom.
Pleasure.
Thank you for watching The Street.